what a twist.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Talking Rad Podcasts with your hosts, the boys.
I'm kicking Samza,
I'm Chet You Betcha.
And I'm...
the first red guy.
No. Shut the fuck up.
Should I have said RB Dude 23?
Yeah. What was your guys's? Was that your guys's first online name?
RB Dude 23.
Mine was kicking Samza.
Rock band dude for all you uninitiated.
How did you come up with yours, Thane?
I don't know.
Racism.
Racism, yeah.
We got a show for you. This is episode 178 of the Talking Rad Podcast. Cole, Sky, and Thane doing the thing again. We're all wearing sweats. That's how you know we're just kind of there.
That means it's a good
We're
day.
there mentally, and we're here physically.
No, it was a Star Trek reference. I was one of the red shirts, and I actually survive and become a captain.
Usually the guy in the red shirt dies.
That's the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And then they survive, and
He's
they
the
get a
first
yellow
one that
shirt.
didn't die.
And then they get a yellow shirt. I'm Captain Kirk.
I got a news story for you guys. You might have heard it today.
Huh?
Okay.
It's a pretty big one.
Okay.
E3 2023 is canceled.
Because nobody was going.
I knew it. After I heard Ubisoft drop out, it's like, who the hell is going to be there? So, to summarize, Nintendo hasn't been there for a while. Sony dropped out like a couple years back. Well, Nintendo was kind of there, but then they kind of said, don't really want to be here anymore. Microsoft said, nah. And then Ubisoft was like, nah. And who do they have left? They had like EA, which they haven't had a good conference in years.
Square Enix. Final Fantasy 16.
Devolver. There's no...
Hades 2.
There's literally no companies left, like just tiny little companies, and it's like, what happens? You lose all the big boys, and you're like, most of the big boys, I mean, they had EA, but that's it, and you're like, well, time to call it quits.
Did these big companies have to pay to be at E3? Well, there's a big reason why. They have the audience on their YouTube channels.
Here's the thing, in today's day and age, you have online events which you can just put together in like After Effects or whatever programs they use to show the games, and then demos are easily accessible by just putting them on the console or the PC at the Steam page or whatever. And also, if they want to be real secret, they can just email it. They can like just send it to like journalists and stuff. Say, oh, here, sign this NDA. Don't say anything until this date. It's easy. It's like easier to like have more access to journalists and consumers than ever. We don't really need something like E3.
Well, and they could probably just, I mean, they've been doing their own showcases, and they don't probably have to abide by, well, anyone else besides, I mean, obviously themselves.
Now, granted, a lot of people are probably going to like have, like, do this time, the summertime, to like show off stuff, and we're probably going to just call it E3 season since that's what it's been for so many years. But yeah, I don't think E3 is going to be around for much longer. If they canceled this year, I highly doubt they're going to come back for next year, or at least try. Like, I think it's over now.
How many years has it been canceled? Like 4 since COVID?
2.
Well, they did online stuff.
Yeah, they did online stuff.
Right. That's right.
They canceled like in-person events for years. They've had I think
This is the first year it's ever does not happen, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Since like 98, I think. 96, something like that.
Yeah, there was a few years they didn't have it. Like, and one they had to like, I think it was like 2006. They severely shrunk their venue. It was like in a trailer. That was bad. That was a bad year.
Yikes.
And yeah, like
1995 was the first E3.
Yeah. And I remember seeing like the Scott the Woz video on that moment where like Sega was like, now we will have Sega Saturns at Toys R Us after this press conference. And they just stealth dropped in, and it was like, oh wow, okay, cool.
Nice.
And then Place was like, yeah, releasing this summer. We're just gonna tell you the date and you can buy it.
So Does this news make you guys sad? What are your guys' thoughts on it?
No.
2020 was technically canceled, I guess.
Yeah, it was.
Which was from the COVID.
The in-person
And
events
then
were.
there was no in-person.
Oh yeah,
there was no
I forgot.
online events in 2020.
They completely shuttered it, and then everyone just kind of started doing their own little events, but they had to like get delayed because there was also the protests that happened.
2021 had an online event, and 2022 was just canceled as well because of COVID. And then this one status says canceled due to lack of interest and attendance of major publishers.
I know I'm laughing, but it's such an old relic now.
It's the end of an era.
It shows all the attendance for every year, and it looks like the year that you were talking about where like nobody showed up for reasons or other was 2008.
Yeah.
Because it went from 2007 seems like it was pretty small too.
Yeah.
It went from 60,000 to 10,000 in 2007. 2008 was 5,000, and then it went back up to 40,000 in 2009. And kept
between
going
2009
forward.
and like 2019, they had that big LA center, that big convention center. They always had it in.
I think that's where they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've always done it there. Save for those years that I said.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was done at the Santa Monica Airport.
Yeah, it was done in an airport with a little trailer that you had to drive to in the middle of an airport.
In the terminal?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No, actually, I think it was a trailer on like part of the runway or part in the parking lot. I remember seeing footage of it. It was like pretty depressing gear for that. It's like, oh god.
You don't got any lotion in your pocket, do you, Sky?
Yeah.
So yeah, like if E3, I would be sad if E3 was still in its prime and that was like the best place to see games. But ever since it's been on just a steady decline, it's like I saw this coming. We all saw this coming. It's done. Jeff Keighley's taken over. The downfall, I think, happened with Jeff Keighley completely cut ties just to form his own little thing. Because he used to be Mr. E3 like every year. And then he's like, yeah, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm big enough. I'm going to do my own thing.
In fact, the way you spelt his name was JE3FF. That's how you spelt it, literally.
I didn't know that, but yeah, that's
I'm
how.
lying!
Oh, gaslighting me.
Dwight?
Let's go!
Wait, so his name is spelled like G.
Yeah, it's G-E-O-F.
It's spelled like Geoff.
Wait, do I just look like a guy that carries lotion in his pocket?
No, I just figured I'd ask because my hands are dry. The back of my hand specifically is very dry.
Mine are dry too.
I can feel it whenever I put it in my pockets and like all like the little
catch.
dead skins catches.
I remember the memories back then of watching like journalists go to E3. It's like, I want to go to.
That's what you're still hung up on.
Because it
It's
caught
like-
me off guard.
Yeah, I want to go to E3, and then I learned, it's only for press. It's only for like press related issues.
Growing up,
And then one year they did make it public, but I didn't have money to go to LA, and by the time I was like, all those people, I don't really want to go.
growing up watching E3 every year on my TV was so fun.
Yeah, I didn't have G4. I had like just stupid cable, and I didn't get the satellite package because G4 was only on satellite. But I'd look up I'd see that it said this game E3 trailer. It's like, ooh, because I knew it was a big thing.
What games do you remember specifically the E3 announcement, or like do you have any like memories?
I think I was watching them. I think I was watching them actively around 2016. I remember the Devil May Cry franchise. It was kind of in a rut since they did that reboot, and I was like, God, Devil May Cry franchise is just sucks now. And then the Xbox conference happened, and I see a trailer where people were just getting slaughtered in the streets. Like, what the hell? And then here comes Nero from Devil May Cry 4, and he has his Rev sword. I was like, it's back, baby! Devil May Cry 5. That was great. And also, that's the one I remember because I really liked Devil May Cry back then, and I still like it now. And Xbox had a lot of good stuff, mostly because it was just multi-console stuff, and they said, hey, here, we'll give you money to show it at our conference.
I remember specifically the Modern Warfare 2 reveal, the Halo 3 ODST reveal, and very vividly, I remember Star Wars Battlefront reboot reveal. Because it shows the scene with the snowspeeder and the AT-AT steps on the snowspeeder. And I remember this one specifically because I was in the living room. My mom was just sitting over there too. And I was all jumping for joy. And she's like, it's just a game or something like that. I'm like, Mom, it's Star Wars is back.
Yeah. No, Mom, you get to start. I guess one that it was revealed at E3, but I didn't know it was E3. I was just really excited was the Super Smash Bros. Brawl trailer. So I saw that and I was like, oh, ha, 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 ha.
That's the thumbnail.
I was also super stoked for Wind Waker HD too.
Yeah.
I think the two that I remember, and I don't know if this was announced in E3 if I just saw the trailer specifically, but it was Halo Reach and then Call of Duty Black Ops.
See, I know I watched those like the E3s for those years. I don't remember the reveal at all though.
Because and once again, like I don't know if it was at E3 or if it was the trailers.
Probably was. I mean, they just showed the trailer. Like they do like a trailer and a gameplay reveal at E3, typically for Call of Duty anyway. And I'm sure that's probably what you saw on YouTube or something after the fact.
Yeah.
I just remember the Modern Warfare 2 one just so specifically because it's the scene where they're climbing up the side of the ice mountain. And it's like that whole mission that they show all the way to the end of the snowmobiles. Like they showed a lot of Call of Duty back in those days because that was obviously like the thing.
The big boy.
Yeah. But like, man, I just remember very specifically like they dedicated like probably 15 minutes to of the show to Call of Duty every year.
Yeah, that was when Activision had a conference, like a little panel that they would do.
Well, back then it wasn't even Activision; it was just Microsoft. They do that at the Xbox conference.
Oh yeah, they'd have some cross promotion. Like Microsoft would say, "Here's from our buddies Activision revealing a new game," and then I remember one year in Activision they had Jamie Kennedy, who's clearly drunk, promoting games. Like,
was he the one? He was like, he was on stage just being a freak, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's like, now we got this next game here, the B-movie game. Yeah, whatever. Show the trailer. It's like, oh my god.
I guess I got one more memory. I remember when they showed off Project Natal or the Kinect for the first time, and then they showed off Milo, the AI British kid that you could interact with and stuff. It's like Milo, he's Milo, hey Milo, kind of thing.
Does not ring a bell at all.
Not at all. I remember that very vividly.
People made fun of that.
They made fun of it so much.
I remember I got a lot of my coverage of E3 from Screw Attack. They post a lot of trailers. They'd have a lot of coverage. They make a lot of jokes about it. That's where I got a lot of my E3 coverage. Like, rest in peace, Screw Attack. It's gone, but so is E3. So I guess all good things have to go away sometimes.
Was E3 really even good though?
It was. For years, it depended on the conference, and it was like really like. When, like, I guess games had this, like, backdoor thing where it's like, oh, only press can see it, and then they show it. And then you kind of open it public, and also leaks happen, and then, like, as it kept going.
I always remember one of the big leaks would always be, like, somebody would, like, take a crappy picture with their cell phone of, like, a piece of paper that would show the set list or the game lineup list. And, like, it was always just BS. Somebody made it in Microsoft Word and, like, tried to pass it off as fun.
Yeah.
Happened all the time.
No, yeah. E3 was a special time, but it's dated time now.
I feel like there's an era. There's a very nostalgic era.
Yeah.
Of E3
Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare.
E3, YouTube, and just gaming in general. And I think you're right. It was
right
like that 2008, 2009 to about 2012, 2013.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the era. That's like when they'd have some of the best reveals.
Well, dude, and I just remember even my gaming experience with that era was so much fun. Like, I was playing lots of multiplayer games with my friends. I was still doing achievement hunting while getting into a lot of Nintendo stuff because I had gotten a Wii at that time, and I was playing a lot more Zelda games and Mario, and Thane introduced me to Skyrim and Dark Souls, and it was just like for me anyway, it was
golden age.
A golden age where I was experiencing so many different games, because prior to that, I played a lot of Halo, and I played a lot of my Nintendo 64 and my DS at the time. But that was basically it. I still remember how excited I was when I got Modern Warfare. Well, I got Modern Warfare 1 because my dad bought a 360. My first 360 he bought from one of his coworkers, and he just gave us Call of Duty as well. And I guess it's one of his employees. Doesn't matter. Anyway, Modern Warfare came with it, and I remember playing through that campaign with Zay, and I'm like, dude, this is so sick. And then you and Cade got me hooked on Halo 3 online, and I'm like, whoa, let me try Call of Duty online, and that was just a whole new door. So then when Modern Warfare 2 dropped, that was all any of us talked about in junior high, dude. I remember that was all we talked about. All of us were playing, and there was like people that I wouldn't even consider friends nowadays we were playing with, like Tu and Hayden and all those guys, that friend group. What was the big, tall, skinny, white-haired guy?
Colton,
yeah. All those guys, dude. It's just so much fun. I remember those days.
It was like a magical time when you would first discover the world of online gaming. And like nowadays it's just so ingrained, like everybody plays Fortnite kind of thing. And back then it was just like this whole new world to discover. Like you could talk to people from all around the world through your TV, and you're just like, what the freak is going on? This is so crazy. This is like absolutely bonkers. I imagine there's Nikki Jakey doing that video, by the way.
That's the thing Jim Carrey said in The Cable Guy, where it's like, you could, I can't remember the first part, but he said, you could play Mortal Kombat with a friend in China. This is like 1993 when this was unheard of, but the things he said you can do today.
Totally.
That would be a great video for one of us to do. The golden age of gaming. Just that 2008 to like 2012.
Well, I'm doing a video about stupid videos where it's just like an era where you just watch a video and there'd be no drama, no cancellation.
Because I also remember with that nostalgic time for me, that's when I was getting into YouTube. I remember showing my dad YouTube, because you were the first person that ever introduced me to YouTube at Braden Stokes' house. I don't know if you remember that or not.
What did I show you?
You showed me the dancing guy, the ultimate dancer, or whatever it is.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
The evolution of the dance?
The evolution of the dance.
That was what I showed you?
I remember.
Holy freak, was that 2006?
Probably. Because
were we on like a computer? Or
yeah,
what?
it was on his computer. I remember watching it, and I'm just like, that's cool, I guess. But like, boom, YouTube was just gone from my brain, because my only other memory of that is Cade had an iPod Touch, and it was the first gen, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Had that classic YouTube app with like the little the TV.
Yep,
thing.
and he pulled up YouTube one time, and we sat down for like 15 minutes to watch a 2-minute video because of buffering. So like, not only was I getting introduced to YouTube again, but also an iPod Touch, which was the coolest thing ever. And also, I learned what Wi-Fi was.
I was incredibly jealous of his iPod Touch.
Oh, me too, dude.
I ended up getting one because of him, because he had one. And man, what a crazy world it was when you got your first iPod Touch.
I didn't get one until high school.
I
was
really
so
slow
late
on a lot of that
It's
stuff.
just because my parents didn't care. Like, my mom's like, we got an MP3 and an iPod Nano. Why do you need an iPod Touch? What are you going to do on it?
That's a lot of the logic parents have. It's like, oh, you have this. Why do you need this? And it's like, you want to try to break it down. It's like, oh, it sounds too expensive.
Exactly what it was.
I've always wanted to do a video on like the classic era of YouTube talking about this kind of stuff, but like it would be almost more interesting to just expand it onto just the culture of the era back then, of like all of it.
Oh, dude, it was so much fun, because I remember what first got me into it was I watched a lot of music videos with my dad. We watched a lot of drumming videos and a lot of music videos, and then from there, it wasn't until like probably 2008 or 9 when Modern Warfare 2 came out and I got really addicted to achievement hunting. Then I found Rooster Teeth, and I watched a ton of their achievement guide videos.
Did you ever watch the Red vs. Blue?
You were the one that introduced me to that, so I watched a lot of Red vs. Blue back then too.
I only watched up to like season 3 of that.
The first 5 seasons are freaking fun. Everything else after that's kind of rough.
Yeah,
I have it on DVD too.
They try to do like a plot heavy stuff.
The plot for like up to the first 5 seasons was actually pretty interesting, but like they ended it at the end of season 5, but because it did so well, you know, it was kind of one of those like, well, I guess we got to do more, so they kept making new ones. Are they still doing it? I don't know. If they are, it's nowhere near what it was back in the day.
A lot of the creative people.
Most of the people that were like did it are gone from Rooster Teeth.
And you know what's interesting too, and what I think encapsulates this golden era, and you're watching it right now, and we've talked a little bit about it, but video game high school, I feel like encapsulates this golden age that we're talking about.
It really does.
And it came out on YouTube too. So that was like another thing for me where I was like, not only am I watching the golden age, but I'm watching it in the golden age on YouTube. So
it came out weekly when they would release it. Season 1 and 2 did anyway. And I remember like getting home from school to watch them on specific days. And then season 3, this was like one of the only of like 2 Kickstarters that I've ever like kickstarted was Video Game High School season 3. And then that got me the digital version of it like I think like a month or 2 before they started releasing it on YouTube for free. And so on one of my random accounts, I've got Video Game High School Season 3 purchased, even though you can just watch it for free on YouTube nowadays.
Yeah. That's still cool.
It's really interesting,
Yeah, there was a lot, dude. I remember watching, like, I got into competitive Call of Duty, like, watching it anyway. So I watched a lot of Optic Gaming and a lot of FaZe. One of my favorite guys, his name was Scumpy. I don't know if you guys recognize that name or not, but I watched a lot of Halo 3 custom game stuff, tons of Minecraft. I think when Minecraft hit, I got completely addicted to watching Minecraft videos.
Yeah.
And I was like, this was like 14, 15 years old, you know what I mean? So everything was just hitting at that time. And I think that's what it is it was just so novel to experience all this. And it kind of, it wasn't really, I don't want to say mainstream, but it wasn't like, it was just so new, I guess, is the best way to describe it. It wasn't common.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, I mean, kids turn 5 and they have iPhones with Wi-Fi and whatever.
It's, in all reality, it's pretty crazy to think that we kind of, like, lived through the birth of all of this stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, there's just so many things that were just set in stone with, like, a lot of this stuff, like YouTube and gaming, that has, like, stuck with it since then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even like going back in my mind, like Smosh on YouTube, like the OG Smosh stuff, like, man, they really did set a precedence of what YouTube could be or what it should be or whatever. And then just even like gaming videos and how they've kind of progressed from what they were back then to what they are now. Literally every single gaming video on YouTube back then was just a Let's Play. If anybody ever did anything slightly different from a Let's Play, it was the most exciting and most unique thing in the world. If you did something different than a Let's Play with gaming, you almost instantly blew up because it was just so different from what anyone else did.
Yeah, I think AVGN was like
he was like the OG review guy.
He paved the way for everybody. But I remember it was because Thane introduced me to a lot of the essay channels. It was AVGN, JonTron, Peanut Butter Gamer, even the completion at that time I was watching a lot of. This was like 2010, 11-ish. And then I watched a lot of PewDiePie too. He was uploading like 2 or 3 videos a day at one point. I'm like, dude, this is nuts. But like, it was a part of my everyday routine. I watched a lot of Good Mythical Morning. I started doing that. There was just a lot. And I feel like everything that I was doing at the time was just hitting. And it was awesome. And it's a feeling that I wish I could recapture. But I think that is too far gone because
you just don't know what you had.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's just the sheer amount of things now. Like back then, you get introduced to something like Skyrim or Dark Souls, or you play your first Call of Duty game, or you get into your first custom game of Halo 3, and you're like, dude, this is so insane how cool this was. Because for me anyway, before the Xbox 360 era, my online gaming was plugging 4 controllers into my Xbox and shooting my friends on Halo or playing Mario Kart on my N64.
Yeah, the closest thing I really got to online gaming was RuneScape back in the day. But like even then, that was not really much of anything. And then like I went to my buddy Jake's house probably in 6th grade, and we were playing Halo, and it kind of just dawned on me that's like I was saying earlier, like how crazy it is that you can play games online with people. That's when it dawned on me that like, this is crazy. Like, I can play video games with anyone in the world. Like, there's always somebody to play with, almost in a sense like that. And that's what made me get an Xbox, and like, you know, obviously kind of snowballed from there. But
yeah, I remember I was so addicted to playing games with you guys that I had to plan out my play sessions, because not only was I extremely addicted to playing Halo and Call of Duty, my parents had just got Netflix. And if you grew up in the freaking late 2000s, early 2010s, you know that when anyone watched Netflix, it sucked up all the bandwidth from your Wi-Fi. So that was it. And I remember my parents would fall asleep. This is how freaking of a sicko I was. My parents would pass out, and I would go into their room and shut off their TV just so I could freaking play my game.
Oh,
hey, man. You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Literally, yeah.
I had a weird thing that I would have to do occasionally, too. So, being where I grew up, we... like in the middle of freaking nowhere compared to you, even like where your internet wasn't that great. Imagine that times like 10 being that bad. Our internet was so freaking bad, like it was weird. So I did have to do that kind of stuff too, make sure no one else was on the internet. But like it went like there was one extra small weird thing that I never could explain. But if the phone, our home phone, back when home phones were a thing, by the way, I forgot that was even a thing we don't do anymore. But the landline, when our landline would start ringing, I would be disconnected from Xbox Live. I'd hear the phone ring. You know, it's got the cycles. It goes ring, 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 pause, ring, 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 pause. If I heard the first cycle of rings, I knew right then and there, I'm like, I'm getting disconnected. This is it, guys. And I'm like telling everybody, like, we'll see y'all later. I'll be back later or something like that.
Did you have freaking dial-up?
Yeah.
No, I didn't have dial-up.
I think that...
What?
I have no idea why. They weren't connected. Like, they weren't through the same they weren't even through, like, the same, like, provider or anything. Yeah.
That is very interesting because I have heard a lot of people, especially, like, but this was, like, 90s, where my dad and even my uncles, they would talk about how when they would... be on the internet.
Oh, I mean, I had the same thing. Before we had like the wireless internet that we did, the satellite internet, we did have dial-up, and like I remember like having. Well, it wasn't the same issue, guys. That's before I had Xbox Live. Like I just remember like you'd be on the internet and you'd pull up the phone and hear the internet sounds through the thing, but like so what I would end up doing is I would disconnect our home phones while I was playing games, and my mom was always so mad at me for that because like she's like, what if somebody calls us? What if they need us? I'm just like, playing games, Mom.
Playing games, Mom.
But it was also like, to me anyway, that was like the era of the cell phone. Like the early 2000s, but also when we were in junior high, because that's when I got my first phone. I think it was like 6th grade, maybe 7th grade as a flip phone. But that was the era of cell phones. And I remember when my parents got rid of their landline because they're like, why would we pay for this landline when we all have our own phones now? Which is better in many ways, obviously, to not have a landline.
That was one of those things that took my parents to phase out for a very long time. Like we had our landline for a very, very long time. It just kind of one of those days. Eventually, they just got rid of it. It was probably like I was probably a sophomore in high school, I imagine, before we got rid of it. Yeah.
Well, do you guys know of anybody that still has a landline?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, me either. What about you, Thane? Do your parents have a landline?
No.
Maybe my grandma does. I don't know though.
The only place I know that has a landline is my work, and
I feel like that's a little bit different though. That's almost like a business phone.
Yeah,
at
that's
that point.
A business thing. You can't really rely on to call the boss because then they'll get a million calls. So obviously you're gonna need a landline for that. But yeah, I don't think most homes have landlines anymore. If they just have family plans, phone plans.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing of the past.
Yeah.
But like even going farther with just my Xbox 360 days before we go to break, like. So the 360 had the little wireless adapter dongle thingy.
And I never got that. My dad had to drill a hole in the room connecting to the TV just to pull out a Ethernet cord I had.
So it would clip to the back of the console, and like you'd see like one little antenna stick up.
Yeah.
I would always like constantly, at least once a week, make a new one of these because I was trying to update the design. But I would make little satellite dishes out of like tinfoil and paper and stuff, and I would attach it to the antenna to try to boost my signal because I didn't have a TV anywhere else but the living room TV upstairs, but my dad likes to watch TV, so I couldn't use that, so I had to use the TV downstairs, which was even farther away from our router. And so I would make these little satellite dishes to try to like boost the signal as slightly.
Does that actually work? Does tinfoil actually boost signals?
I can confirm that the signal apparently increased.
Oh, wow.
It would go from red bar to yellow bar. So I know it worked.
Yeah.
I guess.
Also, they have Wi-Fi. Also, they had Wi-Fi extenders. So you probably could look those ones up.
Not back then, really.
I still think it was such a novel thing.
It was such a novel thing.
Nobody knew what was going on. But what's funny about that is before I got on Wi-Fi, like this was, I didn't have the converter at the time, but I just had gotten into online gaming. And so I had to convince my dad to move our internet box, our modem from, if you guys remember my old house, the one by your aunt, our internet was around the corner by the pantry. We had a long table, and it was just sitting right there by the pantry. And I had convinced my dad, I'm like, Dad, I can't play games unless I'm hardwired into the internet. So we have two options. Well, I guess there's a third option of just me not doing it. But I said we have two options. Either we move the router or I just get a really long cable and run it through the house. And so he's like, no, we're not doing that. So we ended up moving the modem back over to by the TV, and it was really cool. I don't know. It was just like the whole experience of the internet for me at the time. I feel like all came at once. It was like online gaming, Wi-Fi through iPods and YouTube. It was just a lot. Netflix was a popular thing too, because prior to that, Netflix was just they mail you
the
discs.
DVD mails. Yep.
Yeah. For the Wii, for a while, they would, if you wanted to watch Netflix on the Wii, they'd ship you this disc to put in the Wii.
I remember getting the Pokemon movies through the mail.
And then eventually they just said, hey, we have an app now, so you don't need the disc anymore. It's like, oh, and I think they had a recycle method. It's like, just ship it, send it to Heel, and we'll recycle it or something. Yeah, I remember the Netflix thing where like you'd like open it, you pull the disc out, and then there'd be the little thing and seal it.
Yep.
And if you weren't done with the movie, it's like, I wasn't done with that. You'd have to rip it open. And then sometimes we did that and we just tape it back up.
I think that's fine.
Yeah. I remember doing GameFly through that, but
I never did GameFly. It's too expensive for me or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. My mom and dad won't let me.
I remember to end quick because we're going to go on break. I remember my mom eventually said, you know what? You're only using GameFly. You pay for it. It's like, okay. So I was
get roasted.
I was just paying for it myself. And then as I realized, like, I'm buying more games than I'm renting them, eventually just canceled it.
I think what sucks about GameFly, and what is it, like $30 a month maybe? But like, you're spending money for days where you may not even have a game, unless you can do like 2 games where you have one game, and then you can order another one and they'll send it to you.
I'm sure it worked like Netflix like that. Yeah, I imagine.
I remember they say like, I don't remember if it was exactly this, but for 25 cents you could get 2 games for one. I don't remember if exactly was that, but yeah, you could get 2 games for one shipped to you. I remember Netflix, they were doing like, you could do like 3 movies at once, I remember, if you had the plan. But GameFly's still around, but no, I don't know anyone who uses it with like digital refunds now. And nobody uses, I think they shuttered the Netflix DVD thing.
I think they still do it.
They really do?
I'm pretty sure.
Probably foreign countries with not good internet. I think
they still do it in the United States.
Yeah, I know, but probably more foreign countries use it.
I kind of doubt GameFly works in foreign countries.
No, I mean Netflix.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. They might still do it in the United States. I don't know.
I'd have to look it up. We'll see the answer when we get back.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back. Camera Chan's scared and hurt,
Yeah.
and we're gonna heal him up a little
Okay.
bit. See you guys in a bit.
Yep.
I'll just hold him for the rest of the show, then he won't fall down.
Don't get your blade cut in his.
Want to start over?
Your stomach.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say don't get your blade caught in his blade.
This will be the first episode where we didn't pay anyone to do ad reads. I forgot to do it.
Look at our stuff. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
We got an anime podcast. We got a Patreon. We got a YouTube.
Look at our stuff.
We got a YouTube channel. Links in the description. Go check them out.
We love you.
Another thing I wanted to talk about while we're going through this nostalgic rabbit hole is these things that we now just use as prop ups for our lights. They just sit on.
Oh yeah,
you guys remember loot crates?
Yeah, back from the jump.
When did you buy loot crates? I forgot.
They're not mine. Those are Jordan's that he gave to me.
Jordan bought loot crate.
This was way back in the day.
Going back from the jump before, yes, DVD Netflix still exists and GameFly still exists.
I've always wanted to be a part of a loot crate, but I never did because every time I'd look into them, I just I'd think to myself, "This is such a scam. This is such a scam. There's no way I'm winning anything," and so I just stopped doing it.
You're not winning.
But then I see somebody open it for an ad read on YouTube and go, "I want to do it too."
It's not a scam. It's more like
gambling.
You just look at the.
It
shows
some of them
you
get
what's in the box.
Yeah, some of them you get to see what's in the box.
If that's the point, then what's the point of doing it? You just buy all the stuff individually at that point.
It's true.
I'm sure they have exclusive stuff for Loot
Plus,
Crate.
most of the stuff you could buy is garbage anyway. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but it's just for the fun little. I'm not
Over
defending
here,
Loot Crate,
Venom
by the
mug,
way.
and I saw several of those at Hastings before it closed down. In fact, so you could buy some. You could probably buy better stuff that was in Loot Crate. It's
I'm sure there was Loot Crate exclusive stuff, but that's to me kind of what it seems like. Is they had a whole bunch of things that they bought, put in a box, oversold it, and then maybe put in one or two little Loot Crate
that was
exclusive.
literally what it was, though.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was. You hit the nail on the head.
Actually,
I'm a hammer.
You rolled a perfect
I'm pretty
D20.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just a 20. A perfect
So I
20.
remember Loot Crate shutting down.
Critical.
And then another company
critical roll
buying it and then restarting back up, and I don't know if it's back up. Let me look up and see if it's still going.
What was that one called?
Super Duper Crate.
No, I don't think it was Loot Crate. I think they changed the name.
There's just been so many crate things though. There's so many clones of Loot Crate.
There's been a plenty of snack boxes Gaming Crate, and then they have those Japanese snack box crates.
Today's sponsor.
Yeah.
I wish that'd be cool. I need a Japanese box.
Loot Crate is
that. Sponsor us.
Thanks.
Well, it didn't come back. It got shuttered in 2019. So.
Didn't they have a name change?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe it was just another subscription service.
Yeah.
Which that was another thing with, I think, the start of Netflix was subscription services.
Everybody's we're going to need to make it a subscription service.
So has there been any subscription services that you guys have wanted to sign up for and try but never have?
Loot Crate. Pokey Crate.
I always recently come to mind. I always want to do HBO Max just to watch some shows on there, but it's $15 a month, and
you're just a captain now.
Yeah, I'm just a captain now
on the wide sea.
Yeah. Is the One Piece real, Luffy?
Yeah, it is real because it's so convenient. Now, I would say if you it's better to legally support stuff, but it's so expensive to support the things you love. I only really legally buy games. Sometimes I have bought CD keys from websites, but
I'll happily support your stuff if your service isn't garbage.
Yeah.
Agreed. So the two that I've always wanted to sign up for is Dollar Shave Club.
Oh, I've done that before.
Is it good?
It was good.
Do you recommend it? Are the razors good? Did you like them?
I got to the point where I had too many razor heads and I didn't know what to do with them anymore. So I canceled my subscription and I went for another 3 years.
But did you enjoy those razors? Was it a good shave?
They're not as good as what I have now, I think.
Was it worth the price?
Yeah, because it was $1 then. It's not $1 anymore.
Isn't it $5 Shave Club now?
It's something like that, yeah. I started it probably my sophomore year of high school, and then I canceled up my senior year of high school, and then went the next 3 years after that shaving basically for free, other than buying shaving cream.
See, and the only reason I never did anything like that is because I didn't have to freaking shave in high school. I still grow very little facial hair. But I'm in a phase right now where I'm trying to find the razor, the one. And I think the closest thing is I really like the safety razors. That and the Schick Hydro 5 I really like. But the only downside to razor blades with multiple blades is your hair and shaving cream clogs it up and you have to go in there and manually dig it out. But at that point it's well, I'll shave 3 or 4 times and just chuck it because I don't want to clean it up. I'm lazy. Safety razor, you just run some water under, call it a day.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So there's a new blade that I found through the Instagram ads that I clicked on, and it looks really good, but the handle's really expensive, and the blades they're not cheap, but it is a single blade razor. So
what's it called? The brand by any chance?
Let me see if Instagram will give me an ad. So I kind of want to. This is what it's called. Let's go to the shop now. Instagram just knew.
Never heard of that brand.
Yeah, I literally just heard about it like a couple days ago.
Is there like a cartoon or something where someone's shaving and they just press it into their skin and go
Maybe.
rip off the skin? Sounds like a Happy Tree Friend. Remember Happy Tree Friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the era. That was an era of the internet where it's like, gore is funny.
Well, that's back in the older era.
Yeah.
We just got done talking about.
Yeah.
Going back to razors really quick. I'd recommend not going off of Instagram ads to buy a razor. I'd recommend going to YouTube and seeing what all these razor YouTubers say.
Well, I was going to go look this one up on YouTube and see what people say about it.
Yeah.
Is there a razor community?
Oh, there's plenty.
Yeah.
That's how I came up with mine. I got a Merkur 34C, and I used Astra blades.
There's review communities for like everything.
Yeah, there really is. But I honestly think like safety razors in general has a very large community just in general.
Remember the Quantum TV drama and like the guy was reviewing TVs and it's like there's a whole like beef in the YouTube TV reviewing scene.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember. Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
What did he do? He did something bad.
He dunked on Elden Ring and pissed everyone off.
Wait, that's all he was? I thought he actually did something bad.
Well, later came out and like he doxed Actman who like highlighted his video.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And then there was like some Discord messages which he had is very
bad.
Not PC and like there's just and also he's apparently they found out he's done a ban invasion.
I heard he's really good at like combing hair, if you catch my drift. Right?
I am dumb and I don't catch your drift.
I don't think I.
Is there a way to paint that in another nondescript?
I think it's a little lost on me.
Hair care, grooming. Grooming. Wasn't that one of some of his messages that he was caught with?
I don't think so. No, I think it was just being phobic. You know.
I think he was. Yeah, there was a lot. But
that's why I just assume, because that's like it's just terrible to say, but like if you're caught doing something, that's one of the go-to, like, oh, that guy was caught for this, of course he was.
Yep.
That's sad, but that's kind of what I assumed. Sorry, random guy.
Yeah.
Still sucks you did bad things.
Yeah.
But at least you didn't do that bad.
He's kind of a terrible person.
Could have been worse, I guess.
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Thanks for not being a worse human being.
Speaking of things that are completely different, and going back to my previous topic of subscriptions, the other one that I wanted to try it's called Stitch Fix, and it's like a clothing one. So they'll send you like outfits, and the reason I wanted to like try that is because I wear freaking jeans and a t-shirt every day. I've never had fashion. Like I've never once ever even tried to be fashionable or match.
Well, look at you right now. You're pretty fashionable.
Thanks. And so it's like they just send you like an outfit or a couple outfits. I don't know, whatever the subscription thing is.
I've wanted to do stuff like that before too, but it sounds very expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's not cheap. But I mean, if you can afford it, then you don't have to go shopping for your clothes, and somebody just sends you stylish clothes so you can always look fresh
and fly. Like a G6.
And I remember we had a conversation at the beginning of the year talking about fashion, and you were talking about Trash Taste and how those dudes are just fly as F.
Yeah.
Well, I've been getting a lot more Trash Taste clips recommended to me. Those dudes are fly as F.
Always look good, dude.
Dude, they just look fresh. Good. It's just like they're just fashion dudes.
Yeah.
Very fashionable.
So one of the dumb things, you remember, going back to that conversation I had with you at the beginning, I was so excited to buy all these clothes and stuff, and I bought a good handful of clothes because I realized I wear the same like 5 or 6 shirts every single day of the week. And I got all these new clothes, and I was like, cool, great. And now all I've done is just cycled out the old clothes for these new 5 or 6 clothes. And I was like, oh no, what have I done?
So one
I
thing,
guess, buddy, you just need a bunch of clothes. Then,
Yeah.
right?
one thing that I've been doing, and it's mostly because I don't work anymore, but like all I did for the last 4 years was just wear my work clothes. It's like, why would I wear anything else? Because I got to go to work. But now I've been going through my closet and I've been pulling out shirts, and they don't stink, but they just smell like they've been sitting in a closet for 4 years collecting dust. So I've been washing all of my shirts, and now I've been starting to wear clothes again, which has been really fun.
You heard it here first, guys. Skylar doesn't wear clothes normally.
Yeah.
Thing, should we go to the thrift store and pop some tags? We only got $20 in our pocket.
Yeah, what's all these nostalgia bring ups?
Do you want to know what did it for me? This is our buddy Alex. One night, it was him and I. We were vibing.
I wasn't there, but I heard about the story.
And he was he was streaming on Discord. I clicked on it, and he was watching a bunch of really old Lonely Island 2008, 2009 music videos. And we just went down the rabbit hole of we watched all these old music videos from that time, a lot of the old animations, just everything. And then I asked him, I'm like, hey man, like, are you good?
You good?
Are you going through something? Because usually when I go down a nostalgic rabbit hole, it's because I'm sad. And then he kind of unloaded it all on me afterwards. But I was like, dang, I don't know why, but just reliving those good times makes you feel better.
I remember I was watching an anime opening for I think it was Inspector, and the anime opening was very funky R&B, and I just looked at, oh, you know what, I want to look up this song. It's R&B songs. Then one of the R&B songs, she was all up on me screaming, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also,
yeah.
That's not the
I
song.
love you and I need you.
I don't think it is. That's
that's
the one you're talking about. They play in the club.
I think about
Lil
John.
Yeah, Lil Jon.
Yeah.
Is that Apple Bottom Jeans?
No.
No. That's
it's called Yeah.
Yeah, by Usher.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Featuring Lil Jon.
Yeah. He just screams the whole time.
Lil Jon always made me laugh. I liked his voice.
Yeah. He always do that.
He was just a hype man for every song.
Yeah, I know. That's all he was.
Yeah, honestly.
No, but also the other day, sorry I said F you when I was doing this, but I saw a recommended where it said 2000s kid commercials. I was like, I'll watch this. I was playing Resident Evil 4. It's like, oh man, I remember all these. And then I was like, and then Sky was like, are you watching old commercials? Like, F you. I don't know why I was so angry. He's like, I was like, I don't know. This guy recommended me. I started watching it.
He goes into Thane's room, sees him playing Resident Evil 4, watching commercials from 2000.
And it was like the old Resident Evil 4. It's like, why are you not playing the remake?
Yeah, not the new one either. He's just not like UK thing.
It's like, no, but then I was like, you know what? I want to look up old video game commercials. And I remember some of these, like, wow. Man, how I miss old TV commercials where they just advertise the game. Like,
and they were unhinged.
Yeah.
What's a funny one that you guys should look up if you haven't is Excite Bike 64's commercial. Has a kid like on a teeter-totter and a motorcycle comes flying off the screen, lands on the teeter-totter and launches the dude.
Nah.
What's the one with the... Or like the commercial where it shows a pregnant lady having a kid and the baby gets shot out and breaks through the thing and it turns and like you see the baby go through its entire life and lands in a grave at the end.
That's the Xbox. That was for Xbox.
That was Xbox. Okay,
okay. It's like life is short.
Play hard or something?
Play hard. I don't know. Yeah.
Life is short. Get hard.
It's like a European ad.
So I'm not a Markiplier guy by any means. Well, I watched one video a long time ago, and I to this day will never not laugh at this quote. It's I don't know what he was doing, but he was making up slogans, and he just said, "Life is hard, and you should be too." And I can never not laugh at that. It's just one of those that kind of always got me. I like it.
Remember a recent Markiplier clip? It was out of context, and I had to look up the context. But it was like, "Oh, the Ku Klux Klan," And I looked, it was just a white a white ghost. It's like, oh my gosh.
That's the context.
Yeah. But also like the memes, so it said, we need to go into hashtag memes, like in a Discord server, and it's like, the Ku Klux Klan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pog.
Yeah. But yeah, the old video game commercials, I remember they had one for Resident Evil 4. It's like, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil's never been like this. And it's like, and it's true. It hasn't been like that back then.
Resident Evil.
I want to clarify that I didn't go into your room, Thane. It was over Discord. I just heard the videos in my ear.
I know.
So that's why I was like, and it's not like I wasn't coming after you at all. I was just like, are you watching old commercials?
Maybe
F you. And I'm like,
maybe it was focused on the games. You watch the old commercials, fuck you.
Like, are you okay, Thane?
I've just kind of trained myself that whenever Thane says that, it just means that he loves me.
Yeah.
That's Thane's way of showing his love.
Instead of taking Skylar to the back of the schoolyard after class and bowing to him with a note in his hand and saying "ski," he just goes "f you." That's what he says. I love you. Ski.
I love you. Be my girlfriend. I love you. Be my boyfriend. They're so blunt, and I'm assuming that's how it really is in Japanese culture.
It's a thing.
But like.
That's what they do.
In American culture,
we don't do that.
No, it's like you talk to your friend.
You're
like, hey, can you go find out who Jessica likes?
I don't remember what it was that I was watching or listening to, but I heard it was like an anime or a manga or something like that, and the person was trying to like pass themselves off as like an American. And like, we know you're not American because you didn't do the American like ask out thing. You just did a Japanese ask out thing. We know you're not we know you're actually Japanese because Americans don't do that.
Like I remember it kind of evolved. So when you're younger, you always ask your friend to go talk to her friends to find out who she likes.
Yep.
And then you go in for the kill. And then when you get older, it's like, okay, get her snap or get her number, and you start talking, and then eventually you say, hey, do you want to go out? And then you're in 7th grade and you can't go anywhere, so you just hold hands at school.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
I can't say this. I was homeschooled for like 3 years.
But you did go to high school.
Yeah, all through high school. And probably what kind of didn't help, I kind of was like antisocial, so I probably didn't get those middle school experiences to help me with the ladies.
I don't think middle school helped me with the ladies at all.
Maybe it could have helped, but I don't know. I'm just
all middle school taught me was I was afraid of people that were older than me.
It's really hard to talk to girls.
Wow. We're unearthing some
trauma.
Trauma here, Sky.
From Thane?
No, from you.
Oh.
From you. Thane's over here just talking how he was just homeschooled. You're over here just going like, yeah. I was always scared about people or something like that.
I was terrified of the older class. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah, that thing where it's like
not allowed to, Sky.
Kids who are only like a year or two older than you, they always look so much bigger, so much older.
I was never that scared of them, but why were you scared of them, Skylar?
So, growing up in grade school, basically all the grades are separated. Like the first graders will have recess, then the second graders, third graders, fourth, fifth, all the way up.
True.
You're never with the older class.
Can confirm.
I had a cousin who was just a grade above us, Zay. Everybody knows Zay. Yeah. Zay was a grade above us, so I kind of had an in with the older class. And also Zay was really popular. But that didn't help.
You know, I guess, okay, I want to say something, but I'm going to let you finish and then remind me to say, because I'll forget.
So what terrified me, though, and this was like, wow, I'm afraid of the older kids now, was, you know, the ramp in the middle where you walk down junior high? Big ramp.
Yeah, it's like a spiral.
Yeah, so one day, it was like 2 weeks into school, I was walking down that ramp, and then there was a couple kids in front of me that were walking in front of me, but at the very bottom, there were always a group of boys that were lined up on the sides, and when you would walk by, they would shove you. And so you'd get shoved back and forth as you were trying to get through.
I don't remember that. They never did that to me.
So I saw a couple kids go in front of me, and they shoved them back and forth. And so I stopped, turned, walked back up the ramp, and I never took that route again.
Yeah.
I was so terrified of getting beat up.
You should have told the teacher at that point.
You're in 7th grade. You're gonna tell a teacher. You're gonna get bullied even more for telling
they'll
a teacher.
freaking go beat me up. So
they're gonna take you in the backyard after school and not say they love you, but instead kick you in the nuts.
What if you were like actually learn the martial arts training that he's like, oh, like be cool to be a ninja, but you learn martial arts training. It's like push you back, push you forward, then push you over there, and you just go. Did they never bother you again? Yeah.
What's funny though is one of those kids that was in the line pushing. We became really good friends in high school, and he actually works at one of the construction places in Burley. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool dude.
What I was gonna say though was that I'm surprised that you had these experiences because I always thought you were one of the cool kids. I always put you in the popular group in my mind. You were always one of the popular kids in my mind.
Thanks. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't know if it's good or bad either. But like I thought you were one of the popular kids.
I guess in my head we were always on the same level because we did a lot of things together, and we were in a band.
Sure. I always still just thought you were the popular kid.
Was it because I played sports like basketball?
Probably part of it, yeah. That's probably a big reason for it.
I feel like our school specifically, like we weren't very good at other sports, but basketball was.
We were the traditional high school on TV where if you're into sports then you're popular. It was kind of that thing. Yeah. Very much so that thing. And if you weren't into sports and you did other things that were like nerdy, then you weren't popular. That's just kind of how it was.
Do you think that's because our school was kind of smaller too?
I think that's a huge part of it, yeah. I also just think it's because a big part of it was that because our school is such a small, in the middle of nowhere kind of school, it also basically got a lot of like trends and stuff later than anywhere else, just because it was in a remote area that was really small.
Yeah, and it probably was also like our town's so small, there's nothing to freaking do, so the whole town goes to the sports games.
Correct, yeah. Like my grandpa was going to the sports ever since he was basically in high school himself.
Yeah.
But like I'm sure it's a lot different nowadays because the internet is how you get your trends and stuff, and everybody has access to that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting how that all works out. But yeah, I was always under the impression that Skylar was on the in crowd. He was one of the popular kids. He was kind of top dog of the school. Literally though, I thought you were way up there. Like sure you had like those guys that were like nobody liked him because they were so popular kind of thing.
The untouchables.
Yeah, almost like that. But I always thought you were right underneath that.
Well, that's sweet, I guess.
I don't know if you want to look at it that way, sure. Because me and my group, we always kind of just hung out and in front of this, like in like one of like the lobby areas of the school, very nerdy style, and kind of just did our thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just didn't think anything of it because that was just life. Go to school, go to sports. Then we'd jam practice every once in a while. Basically
school,
before a show.
Do homework, play video games, and repeat the cycle.
Basically what I did.
Yeah.
They probably would have been in my group.
Yeah.
He was in my my weekend group.
I didn't really do much sport. Like I didn't do any sports. I went
either.
to a few games, but
I went to games too occasionally, but not a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to some random games at some random times. Like for some weird reason, we were playing Pocatello, and me and like Jake and Andrew decided to drive to Pocatello and watch a football game down there. Weirdest freaking thing. I don't know why we did. Only people in the entire school that was there, other than the people playing and the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
We're just like, why are we here? But it was really fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's weird because your older brother's the same age as I am, so
Yeah.
But he was not into the same things I was.
Not at all,
yeah.
My brother was definitely on the popular side of the school, but he was also in the redneck side of the school. So he wasn't like the jock popular. Yeah. But everybody knew him just because of the kind of guy he was. Granted, our school is freaking tiny, so it's also part of it, but
he still is very outgoing, but I remember in high school, like his friend group, they were loud and rambunctious, and anytime they were coming down the hall, you knew.
You freaking knew.
Yeah. It's weird. So I went to Declo, and
It's like 15 minutes from
Even smaller than the school
Yeah.
we went
Even
to.
smaller. And then one day, like, kind of like, was at a group thing, and I went into like the Burley school and walked around. It's like it was just like the same school, same layout, but like double sized.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Like high school never ends.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
There it is. There it is, everybody. Bowling for Sue.
Yep.
And that's the end of the show.
Yeah.
We did it, Pochita. Are you happy?
Meow.
Did you meow? Pochita's a dog.
Just remember the days when each game reveal was as good as every Metal Gear game.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys didn't
slowly worse over time. Got it.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I can't have an opinion on Metal Gear. I've never.
Hopefully
really
you guys
them.
didn't tear up through this nostalgic road trip we took you on.
Yeah, we're also crying on the inside.
But only on the inside.
And don't worry if I like you guys too. I'll take you guys behind the school later on and confess my love too. So don't worry.
Ski.
Skeet.
Thane, you got anything?
That's dirty.
Yeah. What?
Got anything?
Nope. That's it.
Pochito's leg's broken.
I'm gonna go watch video game commercials from Japan.
And I'm gonna go to Disneyland. We'll see you guys next time. Keep it rad, everybody. Bye.
Disneyland, huh?
That's what people say.